Hello, everybody. Welcome to the How to Create an Online Store from Your Kitchen Table Masterclass. Now, I just want to ask by asking whether you can hear me. Hopefully, you just have the screen of me in a circle there, and hopefully that you can hear me. So if you're on the line, I'd love you to just put a comment in the chat box just to confirm that you can hear me just before we get started. We've still got a couple of minutes before we get stuck in. So happy Monday, everybody. It's a beautiful day here in Sydney, a little bit cloudy but warm. I'd love to know where you're all from, how you found me and this exciting webinar that I'll be presenting. And yeah, hopefully that you can see and hear me okay. I might just put a comment in the chat box as well. Can everyone see and can everyone hear me? Hopefully. Thanks, Alexandra. Oh, hi, Kate. You're in Brisbane. Perfectly. Great. Thanks, Kim. Thanks, Christy. Thanks, Stephanie. Yeah, you can't see me just yet. I'm just about to screen share before we get stuck in. We'll just wait another minute to just ensure that everybody doesn't miss the beginning. And thanks for giving up your Monday morning, well, an hour with me to hear the masterclass. Oh, Stephanie, you're in New Zealand. Fabulous. I've always wanted to go there. I haven't as yet, but it's on the bucket list. Hello from Perth. Fabulous. So it looks like we're kind of around Australia and one in New Zealand. I'm in Sydney. As I mentioned, I live on Sydney's northern beaches. My co-working space is in Manly. Hi, Stephanie. Yes, I know. It's a bit funny. We're a bit international today, which is great. We've got a lot of people registering from the USA as well. Oh, Melbourne. Fabulous. God, I love Melbourne. So amazing. All right, everybody. Look, it's just turned 11 a.m. So we'll get started and I'll do a screen share. So if you just okay, fabulous. So thank you so much for joining me. I'm absolutely pumped that you're here. So what we're going to be covering today is really how to get started with an online store, some fundamental basics of getting online and really to achieve online success. And there'll also be time for live Q&A at the end, so stick around. Look, it might sound really obvious, but if you want to get the most from today's session, please switch off all possible distractions, close down your browsers, turn off Netflix, grab a notebook and pen, and pour yourself a glass of nice coffee or your preferred drink. If that's wine on a Monday morning, go for it, because we're going to be covering a lot. I've actually got a special bonus for those who stay on the line till the very end. I'll be offering the first lucky 20 people who stay on the end my ultimate guide to drop shipping, which uncovers the art to how to sell products online without ever having to hold stock in a warehouse, or even worse, building up on your kitchen table. So really stay tuned for that. So let's dive in. First up, I want to ask you, does this sound like you? You would love to have your own online store, possibly making your own stuff, or are you dreaming of having a lovely little Etsy or eBay store or even website? Or you're a stay-at-home mum looking to do something that you love and can get paid for. You know, in other words, perhaps you've always wanted to turn your passion into a viable business, but you're just not sure how to go about it. Or are you in a quandary of starting to think about returning to work, but cringe at the thought of negotiating part-time hours with your boss? And it just seems so, all too much to bear. Or does this sound like you've dabbled in an online store and made a little bit of money, but just not sure, how to go about scaling it, or never really gotten off the ground? Perhaps you've opened up an eBay store and sold a couple of things, just felt like it wasn't really going places. Or perhaps you could never really get all the moving parts to flow, getting the branding and positioning correct, making the website look professional and convert and function properly. And then there's pushing sales. Were sales slow and you go all week without selling anything at all? This is, very, very common in business when it's just not set up correctly. Or are you just a little bit fed up? you know, um, sourcing reliable and trustworthy suppliers that produce quality products. When it comes to sourcing overseas manufacturers, one of the biggest hurdles is actually the language barrier with suppliers, which can have a huge impact on business. Or once you've sorted your supplier issues, have you had problems just choosing the right products and most popular products that will actually sell out? You may have found yourself in a position where you've got too much stock of the kind nobody wants, which is a really big problem to have. And then there's just, getting your website to function properly. And then there is just the overwhelming feeling with it all, especially running the household and juggling the family. I definitely hear you. But you know that it's possible. You want to know how people can buy from you and what their secret is to success. I know for me, commuting an hour on the bus to the city while juggling drop-offs at my local kindy put an enormous amount of strain on my family. The morning was a pure rush. I'd feel guilty putting the kids in daycare so much, and I'd often be on the bus wondering, what am I doing this for? Surely there has to be an easier way. I know I've sat there wondering how both parents can manage it, all while earning a living and paying daycare fees. Is it even viable? Do you find yourself having that niggling voice in your head, knowing that you need to contribute to the family financially, but just not quite sure how you're going to juggle it all? I know for me, living in Sydney, one of the most expensive cities in the world, was just all too much to bear. I've got a mortgage, I need to earn an income, but I need to be around my children while they're young. So, it's a really difficult position to be in, really. And perhaps you've done some number crunching, and even with the government subsidy, daycare fees and working part-time just doesn't seem to be worth it, which makes for going for work feeling unenjoyable and really full of effort. I know because, I've really been there. I'll just pop over to the right slides. And really, don't believe your news feeds with instant success stories. It really just doesn't happen that way. I've been designing and developing websites and working in e-commerce for almost 7 years now. And I'm the result of trialing, testing, and optimizing what works and what doesn't. So I'm going to share with you today how easy it is to earn recurring income in your sleep with my top methods on setting up an online store the right way. What you're going to be learning today is the domains that you must own, the right website platform to be on, and how to source suppliers for your stock. In addition to this, we're going to be uncovering how you can have recurring income just like I have. But let's take a step back through my journey for a moment. Things have not always been roses. I first started when my baby girl, India, was born preemie. This is her and I in the hospital when she was just a couple of hours old. It was a really huge shock for me that she was born at 30 weeks. I was on a ferry and my waters broke. As you can imagine, it was long days in the hospital as she was a well baby, but ultimately just needed to grow. So there was lots of time to think. I had planned to go back to work after 6 months, but her early arrival meant I simply could not return to work in a traditional sense. But I soon realized all I needed was my laptop, Wi-Fi, and willingness to knuckle down and learn. After all, I'd always wanted to be an entrepreneur, as all my family were. So my online business, Petite Bamboo, was born. I sourced suppliers, I got a big commerce website, and I had the saying in my head, build it and they will come. But I started to get frustrated with the lack of sales and spent more time on the phone to big commerce, getting my website right, than actually marketing my business. So something really had to give. So I started to learn websites, and in particular WordPress, build my own website and learn every online strategy there was. Every day while India slept, I watched every digital marketing video I could find. I'd sign up to every online course around, and I'd soak up as much as I can to learn as much as possible. To be honest, I am completely self-taught. That's right, I learned from YouTube and I just gave it a crack. I did absolutely every online course that was advertised at the time. And I really got big results. So I got 20,000 real and engaged Facebook fans. You know, I'm not into buying Facebook fans on Facebook or Instagram. I find that spammy and non-genuine. I'm all about real and authentic. That's my motto, really. And I started to make sales and sell out of my products. I really couldn't have been happier. When I got pregnant with my third baby, I picked up a full-time job that I simply adored while juggling the side gig. I thought I could have it all. But I truly wondered how I was going to return to work in a full-time capacity now, or soon to be, as a mother of three. My world pretty much fell apart when I was fired from that job. I remember sitting on the steps of my house, crying to my husband, and really so many thoughts plagued me. How will I contribute to the mortgage? I love working, you know, it's my passion. But my third about to be born and two already in daycare, the thought of commuting and paying daycare fees really had me in a spin. I was relying on going back in a part-time capacity, juggling my side gig, and even that was hard to imagine. And so you might be able to relate to this. All these questions swirled around in my head. How will I go back to work if I'm still breastfeeding? When is the right time to go back to work? And how will I justify the fees matched with the part-time income that I had? And I don't want to work in an office and be away from my baby. But we live in Sydney, it's very expensive, I must earn an income. My husband's income was simply not enough. And without even doing a budget, I just knew something had to give and I needed to start earning a decent wage. So really, this is a pivotal moment for me. This is my ultimate chance to help others, tap into my true talent, and really give my bamboo baby wear business a red hot go. It was now or never. My brother has always said to me, the bigger the risk, the bigger the reward. And now I truly believed him. So I went on to push my Petite Bamboo business even harder, lift my game, and I started my own web design and development business also, which became a roaring success. I learned Facebook advertising and AdWords and really just pumped those sales. I worked on making that side hustle, or what I thought was a side hustle, into something very real. This is one of my bamboo baby wraps that I designed myself and developed with an overseas manufacturer and really made it work. I made sure professional photography was a priority for me, and I really marketed it properly with the right positioning, and I ended up replacing my part-time income and then some. If you have a look at this wrap here, this was the result of a local mum who was a photographer, and I got her to do a professional shoot. I worked with a local agent to source stock. So this is my own design and my own label. And really it became, you know, so real for me. I knew at the time, I knew that I was meant to lose that job. And I really thought at the time that that job was for me, but the universe had bigger plans for me. And, I really believe that some things really do happen for a reason. So, I had the chance to really, enjoy my new baby and, be there for kinder graduation. and duck down to reading at school if I wanted to. The choice was ultimately mine. This is my eldest boy, Max. He was graduating from kindy, and it occurred to me that I could be there for it. You know, it was during the day and something that would have been quite a challenge if I had gone back to work. So really, the universe was looking after me in big ways. You know, I learned so much from my online business that I had the skills required. Plus, I noticed that I could fill a gap with local WordPress developers in my area. I'd learned so much. So this was one of my clients, What She Pictures. She is a flat lay photographer. So she wanted a brand that could really lift her game. And so she got a complete branding package and complete new website. And, you know, the sky's the limit. And I'd also picked up client Susan from Kinesiology Effect, which through a referral led to my second lead and then my third. And before I knew it, I was booked out until Christmas. You know, she got some really good results. Her brief was she wanted it mobile tablet responsive. She wanted it to generate leads and inquiries for her, and ultimately a web strategy to convert. It's not just about putting an online store together. It's having a strategy behind it so that you'll bring in traffic and leads and make sales, or in Susan's case, have more clients. So as a result of the new website build, she saw a 500% increase in sales. She got lots more visitors and ultimately led to more clients, and she still gets raving reviews from her website. So her return on investment was really huge. Plenty of client love there. So this is her quote. I always blush about this. Since redesigning my website, I've had a huge growth in traffic, leads, and inquiries. I'm so happy I decided to take the leap and invest the time, says Susan. You know, and these figures are quite conservative. You know, that's her private business. I can't share too much. So, yeah, she got some really good results. So why am I sharing this with you? Well, when I was fired from my job, I searched high and low for a part-time job. But would it have made me happy to be away from my babies? Probably not. I knew that had to be an easier way to bring an income into the family, and a reoccurring income. And really, I'm just a mum of three with no formal digital marketing training. I'm self-taught and have grown to a six-figure business over the past 7 years. And trust me, it's easier than you may think. The thing is, I've researched, tried, and tested so many options, and my methods work. And really, I always like to choose the simplest path. So let me walk you through it. Online success really just comes down to getting it right. No more fumbling around trying to get it off the ground. The right branding, shipping carrier, newsletter integration, and the website, both in terms of aesthetics and functionality. There's just so many moving parts. The branding, the website, the marketing, you know, it's enough to make your head go into a spin. So let's dive in. What we're going to be covering today is what domains that you need for your business and how many, what website platform you should launch your online store with, it's so important, and how to source suppliers for your stock. So this is the time now that you really need to get a notepad and pen and start scribbling notes, because I'm going to be covering so much here. So let's talk about domain for a moment. Your business name can actually your business name can actually be determined by what domains are currently available. I'd start by brainstorming a list of short names for your business and then jumping on to crazy domains and seeing what's available. I'd always recommend purchasing the .com.au and the .com. So if you're not located in Australia, it's really your local domain, depending on where you live. But plus, I'd also recommend having the .com as well. And if both names aren't available, don't worry, consider adding a variation. For example, if for my baby wear business name, that was Petite Bamboo, and luckily petitebamboo.com.au and petitebamboo.com was available. But if it wasn't at the time, there's a couple of things that you can do. You can add a dash in between the names, so petite-bamboo.com.au, or you can add a co on the end, which sort of indicates that you're a company, and it's just a nice, classy way of still being able to have that domain and just seeing whether it's available. Or if you're after ones that are free, and if you see that they are actually available, it's really important that you purchase them straight away. Certain domain providers, there's lots of people that do data on the back end, and if they can see that a certain domain is being looked at multiple times, it can be taken and then resold in another marketplace. So it's important that once you do see that they are available and they fit with your brand, to purchase them straight away. It will cost you around $25 for 2 years, and really they're worth their weight in gold if they're really good domains. You also might want to consider whether they're keyword-rich domains. For example, if I wanted to open a bamboo babywear clothing store and wanted to name my business Bamboo Babies, and the domain was available, it gives you a head start to ranking your business at the top of Google, as bamboo and babies are very relevant for your actual industry and business. So I've always purchased my domains from crazydomains.com.au, but it really doesn't matter which provider that you choose. I always that's my go-to domain provider. I make sure that I capture them and that I have them nice and secure. Definitely purchase the .com.au, and as I mentioned, Crazy Domains. There's also other domain providers such as Net Registry and GoDaddy, so really doesn't matter. Now, this is a really big topic, the right platform to be on. I've used self-hosted platforms like Shopify and Squarespace in the past, but the problem is you could spend a lot of time and money building an online store on these platforms and you never really own them. That's right, it's essentially rented space. And you're paying a premium for the privilege and bound by their terms. These platforms are also limited in what you can do. I've been a web designer for 7 years, and I always recommend WordPress, as it's powerful for ranking at the top of Google and wide in capabilities, and perfect to start your online store with. Once you've decided to go with WordPress, you simply need to purchase hosting, which, if you're not familiar with, is where on the internet your website lives. It's sort of like the house for your website. Your hosting provider will take care of ensuring your website loads, how fast it loads, and it will often house your emails as well. I recommend SiteGround for hosting. I always refer my clients there. It's affordable, for as low as $4.95 per month, and it's just a reliable host. They also have a great site speed feature, which is pretty cool. Once you've purchased your domains and you've purchased hosting through SiteGround or another hosting provider, it's time to install WordPress. So there's a few different types of WordPresses that you can install, but the one that you need for commercial use is the .org. I know that there's a lot of confusion out there between the .org and the .com, but it's really important that you choose the .org. Now, if you're going through a hosting provider such as SiteGround, there's a one-click WordPress installation. So if you follow these steps, at the end, you'll have a domain in your business name, hosting, so your website loads, and WordPress. So your WordPress will have a blank canvas ready to go. So look out for the one-click WordPress installation, and if the hosting provider doesn't have one, I'd recommend finding a hosting provider such as SiteGround that really does, because it's important. So how to source suppliers, another really big topic. In my experience, you can go down 3 paths. When you're just starting out, you can test the market and either purchase quantities in bulk at a reduced rate and sell through your online store, or you can drop ship. For those unfamiliar with drop shipping, this works by purchasing, only what you sell. For example, I use dropship with my very first online baby store called Max and Ollie. Somebody would come onto my website, buy a baby sleeping bag in their baby size, And then I would put through an order through my drop ship supplier. They'd invoice me and then directly ship the item to my customer. This means no holding stock in a warehouse or at home, and it's hugely convenient. But drop shipping also means the cost per unit is higher. So you just need to really know your numbers and ensure that your price is still competitive. What you can also do is approach wholesalers directly and ask for their lookbook. So, you know, an example of this would be, as you can see on the left here, an Aiden and A brand. They've got, you know, a well-known brand. They've got the reputation. They've got beautiful products. They don't sell to every online store to then resell, but it's worth, you know, reaching out and inquiring. And so this is what I did with a number of well-known brands. I would reach out to them, ask for their lookbook, ask for their wholesale rates, which should have on their lookbook, and their policies around buying in bulk. So the idea is that you would reach out and purchase, say, 20 or 50 items upfront. They would get delivered to your house or to your warehouse, and then you would on-sell them at the recommended retail price. So they'll often give you a bit of a guide and they'll say, this is the X amount recommended retail price, and that's how you'd make your margin. So it's important that when you're drop shipping, they'll often have a drop shipping price as well, that you won't make as much margin because you're sort of paying to house the stock with them and for them to post out the item. So there's shipping involved as well. So it's important that you have a spreadsheet and factor in all these costs. And if you're taking the third path, which is designing your own clothing label, you have to factor in shipping, and that could mean overseas shipping. So designing your own clothing label is what I did with my Petite Bamboo online store. For example, if I wanted to design a pretty little dress, I would send my supplier the dress with an enormous list of garment changes. For example, longer length, longer arms, bamboo material with a touch of stretch, red in color, buttons down the front. You know, it's really a matter of sending the sample to your agent or your supplier, whether they're local or overseas, and using that as basically a starting point. Because it's easier to communicate this once you have an example of exactly what you're looking for. And then it's all about refining it. I personally was very organized. I would write down all these changes in a spreadsheet, one spreadsheet that had absolutely everything, which meant cost per unit, the unit price I was going to sell it as, the shipping cost broken down into a cost per item. So you really understand what's in it for you, how much margin you could expect to gain. And then there's also marketing costs. So I would factor in Facebook advertising spend, absolutely everything. So there's no real surprises down the line. And, you know, the sky's the limit when it comes to designing your own label, because it meant that you could have any style, any material. It's completely bespoke to your brand, which meant that you could go on and wholesale it out. And the agent that I used really guides you on all aspects of designing your own label. So, you know, he's actually a fashion designer himself, which meant that he knows the process front and back. Which was a huge saving grace for newbies like myself, because as I mentioned, I have no fashion designing background. I was a complete newbie, but, you know, guided by him, I did really well. So once you decide on the final design, so you go back and forth, you receive the sample, you go back with further changes, you're constantly refining it until you're happy, you know, and that item can go into production. So then you just have to decide on quantities and styles, which is a little hard to wrap your head around. And it takes a bit of analytically thinking. So, you know, for example, I chose 2 baby cardigans, 2 bamboo wraps, 2 baby pants, 2 cute little tops, and I ordered 200 quantities of each just to test the market and put through a big order. And, you know, taking this path sounds a little bit scary, but it's really not. All you need to do is pick and choose, be patient with the samples and refining the garment. And I must say, it was a lot of fun. Imagine designing your own clothing label. Now imagine that. And, having my own children's label meant that I had a whole nother revenue stream because I created a beautiful lookbook, sent it out to a bunch of bricks and mortar stores as well as online stores. And any stores that approached me, I had this gorgeous lookbook where I could also on-sell my product or even have my supplier directly ship the product. And wholesaling is a whole nother revenue stream, which meant that, the sky's the limit. And so let's talk about sort of different revenue streams and recurring income for a moment. Once you set up your online store with inventory and tracking, imagine waking up to orders and watching your bank balance rise. It means you spend the time setting up initially, then reap the rewards of recurring income. So imagine not holding any stock at all, but spending your time setting up drop shipping images and descriptions on your website and then selling without even having to see the stock or hold the stock. I'd often get a garment sent to me with drop shipping just so I could understand the quality, what I was delivering to my customer, because knowing my target audience was hugely important. And that way I'd have confidence with drop shipping those items on my online store. But drop shipping is a really smart growth tactic. And it means that you can scale quite quickly because you're not having to hold stock at your house or at a warehouse. And once you have all your supplier agreements in place to drop ship, your earning capacity just jumps. And so, in terms of recurring income, bringing traffic to your site is the next step. So once you're starting to, pick up some momentum and start achieving, a few hundred products through your store per week, then you just lift your game. And I would often run a Facebook ad campaign, for as little as $5 per day, very cost effective, and you can track conversions through your Facebook ads manager. When I first had my Petite Bamboo online store, I remember waking up in hospital just after I'd had Finn, and I'd monitor the sales through ad manager and feel so proud of myself that I'd actually set up the campaign correctly. Sales were streaming in, and really I could sit back and relax. It was sort of the setup process is, where the work comes in, and then it's just recurring income. So, let that sit with you for a minute. There's also affiliate marketing. So you probably heard affiliate marketing around, and it's another revenue stream. So once you start getting traffic to your site, and you start selling products, the success of an online store really comes down to these multiple revenue streams. So you can actually put affiliate banners and have sponsored posts, either through your blog section or very subtly done on your website. You don't want to have advertising and banners and things popping out at you, so it detracts from your brand, but you definitely want to have some kind of delicately placed or subtly placed or very classily placed ads on your website. So you can take advantage of that traffic coming through and actually earn money via click-throughs, and once they go through and purchase from that marketplace. So ClickBank Marketplace is an example. There's lots of affiliate advertising out there, but really can earn a substantial income just by placing this on your website. And the trick is really to do industry relevant ads and to not overwhelm the website to encourage users to click off your site. So there's a bit of an art to getting it right, but it can be hugely lucrative. And obviously wholesaling, as I mentioned before, if you have your own brand rather than somebody else's brand, you can on-sell. And it's not just about selling on your own website. You can basically sell on other people's websites and have a whole nother revenue stream. And, when it's done really well, I would wake up to 20 plus orders. And this happened quite quickly because it was basically set up correctly. I would, from here, set new goals. So if I had 20 plus orders per day, I would set a goal for 50 plus orders per day. And I'd have weekly and monthly goals so I could work towards those goals. I think that's really important, that part of planning. You know, I'm not into huge laborious business plans. It's just not how I roll. But I did set goals and I would work towards those goals. So I would reverse engineer how much Facebook advertising spend I'd need to make or put into the budget to able to have those conversions, to have those sales and still, you know, profit out of that. And I would trial new products and designs. So, you know, I learned through trial and error that my baby pants, my chevron baby pants, which I personally thought were gorgeous, but they just didn't sell. I sold a few, you know, a fair few, but not to the scale that I wanted. So I thought, okay, well, you know, it's time to pivot and go in a new direction. So I scaled up my cardigans and I introduced a new color with a different form of stretch, more wool. So it's just a matter of trialing new products and designs and optimizing your online store. And so as I mentioned before, having an online store isn't just selling products online. That's not a viable business. It comes down to having multiple revenue streams and really optimizing and getting those streams correct. So affiliate marketing, wholesaling, and you can even add digital products to your store. So if you can imagine, it has to be a beautiful store that looks good, that functions well, it's mobile tablet responsive, and there's multiple ways that you could earn an income. So all combined, you could easily have a six-figure business. So it's just a matter of having opening up your mind to a lot more of scope with not just having an online store. It's what you can do with that. And when it comes to having an online store, shipping is a really big component and can be a really big hindrance to your business if you don't have a reliable supplier, because ultimately it's your reputation. If stock doesn't arrive on time, if it doesn't arrive at all, you know, it can really impact your business. So I have two shipping carriers that I'd strongly recommend. You know, at first I had my go-to supplier, which was Australia Post. And I'm sure, you know, for the international listeners, you would have your go-to carrier, but it's important to explore other carriers that maybe aren't so big but have a really competitive service, because they have to in order to compete with the big guns like Australia Post and so forth. So Sendle, it's basically a courier that offers flat rates, comes to your door to pick up your parcel, and they have a really good support network if anything goes wrong. So if you're like me, you pride yourself on customer service, which means not letting your customers down and delivering on time. Really important. And so it must also be financially viable. So the rates can't eat into your profit margin so much, especially if you're offering free shipping, which, you know, it's very important with an online store to have competitive shipping. I actually heard the other day that, shoppers, you know, if they don't have free shipping, they won't purchase. So that's a pretty alarming, and I'm hearing that more and more. So if you're going to offer free shipping, you've got to factor that into your bottom line and what you're making on a cost per item. So having competitive shipping rates is essential, really. So check out Sendle, you know, highly recommend. Another one is e-go.com.au. You don't really hear about them very much, but I used to love them. You buy a premium $50 platinum voucher, which gives you discounted shipping rates, sometimes as low as $4 in the local metro area. And then you just package up your item, go onto Ego's website and enter in your shipping details, pop it on your front doorstep, and they'll collect it and deliver it to your customer. I found them to be reliable, affordable. The package arrived on time. You could track the package. I just love them. So check them out as well. So now that I've delved into what it takes to set up an online store and really how easy it is, I hope I've given you some confidence to potentially give it a go yourself. You know, just remember there's nothing special about me. I'm not university educated. My can-do positive attitude and thirst to learn meant I've been able to achieve pretty substantial online success in a really short space of time. I've been able to earn $20,000 plus per month just by working 3 days a week. So it goes without saying, though, that this isn't a get-rich-quick scheme, and I don't believe in overnight success stories. Owning your own online store takes hard work and commitment, and really anyone can do it. The good news is I can show you how. I've actually just launched my Business in a Box done-to online stores. After years of creating product-to-market fit e-commerce businesses as a professional front-end web designer and digital marketer, and being asked to get involved on a personal level with curating the actual business, I've created the perfect solution. As a mum of 3 myself, I know the angst of wanting to return to work, but the hours versus pay just not stacking up, and the quandary of having to choose between work and staying home with the kids just that little bit longer. I know a lot of fellow mums, especially mums from my son's school, ask me if I can help them with their business and really emulate the kind of success that I've had. Having an online business is really much easier than you may think, but there's a very specific formula to getting it right so you can make sales and make a good living from it. You see, the thing is, I know mums who have tried their hand at a side hustle and put a lot of money into it without really seeing a return. And I really, really, really don't want this to happen to you or anyone else out there. You know, forget about the stress of trying to get the branding right, trying to get the website to function properly, and trying to see if you have correct positioning. My solution is completely done for you. So, what does my Business in a Box entail? So, each Business in a Box comes with a mobile tablet responsive e-commerce website, conceptualized brand, where you'll hop on a phone to my branding specialist and we'll brainstorm, you know, your business name, your target market, your unique selling proposition. And in this 1.5 hour session, you will just fall in love with your business, which is what I really want. You'll receive a professional logo, supplier contact details, so important, SEO-friendly blogs, social media setup, newsletter integration, and basic search engine optimization. And there's a lot of moving parts when it comes to creating an online business, and I don't want to see any mum struggle at all. So I've got a bit of a bonus for you guys. The next 15 minutes only, so let's start the clock now. If you book a breakthrough call with me, I'll be offering my ultimate guide to SEO training bundle valued at $490. So you'll get a lot of value out of our call, and I really just want to see where you're at. You know, have you thought about having your own online store? Have you given it a go and it's just not worked out for you? I'm all ears, and I really want you to walk away from this breakthrough call feeling super inspired and ready to give it a go yourself, and really motivated, and maybe even a little bit of confidence that you can actually have one. So as I said, for the next 15 minutes only, I've started the clock now. Book in a call. All you need to do is go to businessboxed.com.au/book a call. I've got loads of time in my calendar. If you pop in a call, let's have a chat and I'll walk you through it all. So I'd like to just unpack it a little bit. You'll receive a complete e-commerce website with products loaded, ready to go, so you're good for launch. I'll install WooCommerce, which for those of you who don't know, is a plugin where we integrate in the website. So you can track inventory, set up payment methods, send confirmation details and tracking IDs. So it's the perfect heartbeat for your new online store. As a web designer by trade, I normally charge $4,000 plus for a fully set up e-commerce website just like this. So you're really getting lots of value out of my Business in a Box packages. You'll also receive a professional logo, which is really important for branding in business. It represents not just your brand, but represents who you are. So this is some branding that I did for What She Pitches. I did her logo and her inspiration board. So the value of this is $600. And often your logo and website are the first impressions customers will have of your business. So you really must get it right. So you'll receive a matching color palette, an inspiration board, and, you know, a very beautiful, modern and clean style. So the conceptualized brand is what you'll also have. So it'll be a product to market fit. I will help you hone in on your niche. Myself and the branding strategist that I have will help you brainstorm, you know, your unique selling proposition, a gorgeous name, and you'll receive a domain and hosting as part of this package. So to be clear, this is a complete business in a box. So I am creating a business for you and ultimately handing it over. I truly believe that anyone can have the business of their dreams and not struggle day to day with some of these elementary pieces. The packages also come with basic SEO. So I will write 3 professionally written relevant blogs. I'll install Yoast, which is important for optimizing each and every page. I'll set up your Google Analytics and integrate with your new website. I will send your sitemap to Google so they know how to start ranking your every page on your website. And I'll set up Google Search Console. So the value of this would normally be $1,500. I'll also optimize 6 pages so you can have the best possible start in ranking your website. So the next component is supplier contact details. I have an Australian agent who speaks English. He is born here in Australia, and he'll help you source products with overseas manufacturers. So he's your go-to guy. He will help you set up your online store and ultimately source product by, you can create your own label or, you know, pre-made products. So you'll get direct contact details so you can get in touch straight away. No more fumbling through Alibaba or trialing and testing other suppliers that, you know, there's a very specific language barrier, and you waste a lot of time and potentially waste a lot of money by getting stock that you can't shift because the stock is wrong, or running the risk of having stock that, you know, it's just not high quality. And, you know, if you're anything like me, high quality product represents your brand, and, you know, it was hugely important to get right. And in terms of supplier contact details, you'll receive 2 contacts where you can get in touch straight away and start purchasing and starting the process. But if dropshipping's more your jam and you just want to start straight away and launch into the market, I've got a bit of a guide on how to source dropshipping suppliers, and how to source images for those and descriptions and how to really get started. So I'll also include that guide. And to be really clear, the agent that I am providing contact details for, he's the designer behind Witchery, Rebel Sport, and Saba. So, you know, very experienced and very knowledgeable and very happy to help. So, you know, he's more than welcome. You're more than welcome to contact him and brainstorm even on the process, even how to pull it all together and how to pick fabric and, you know, styles, and he'll offer his recommendations. So it's really 1 in a million contact comes with these business in a box packages. I'll also set up your social media accounts, your Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest setup. I'll make sure that your Instagram account has the right bio and comes with the right features so that you can really start to generate real and engaged followers and build your social media following. I'll also include a complimentary Facebook cover image. So it's fabulous. So really, why would you go down this path of a complete done-for-you business in a box? The first point is that you really want to invest in yourself. You know, earn an income while staying home with the kids, and save time and money by having a complete done-for-you package. Because I'm so experienced in web design and development and branding, and I have a digital marketing background spanning 7 years, I know what works and what doesn't. Because really, you can't afford to have a shoddy website. You may have given it a crack on Wix or Shopify or Squarespace, and it's just not professional enough and doesn't stand up to what you want your brand to represent. Because it can reflect really badly if your website is below par. if you're going to get a designer to develop your website, you're basically at the mercy of them for 8 weeks of completely no sales. It's not ideal. I put the right calls to action on your website so that you're not missing out on sales. And also, a website with no strategy or no clear messaging, you're basically doing yourself a disservice. So you'll be working with my brand strategist who will also write your About Us page and your homepage copy to really write compelling sales messaging copy to really have the best possible start to launching your online store. So if you're anything like me, I don't have time to get it all together. I don't have time to do the branding and the website and, search for suppliers and work out email marketing. There's no time, and you just really want to start earning money today. So I know how to tie it all together. I know the functionality, the web strategy, a beautiful professional design. No more trying to get your website to convert. So the investment for my packages, so what you'll be receiving is, again, a mobile tablet responsive full e-commerce website, conceptualized brand valued at $1,000, professional logo valued at $600, supplier contact details, which I would say is priceless, personally, SEO-friendly blogs, the value $1,500, social media setup, and basic search engine optimization. So the investment is $3,990. I have really competitive payment plans accepted. You just need to ask me. So really it's a savings of $7,000. Plus, each client who signs up to my Business in a Box receives 3 months, that's right, 3 months digital marketing education and training via my digital school. So once you purchase a Business in a Box, you'll get entry into our private members group where you can really support one another, and you'll be paired with a partner to, stay accountable. So I'm just going to check the chat box for a moment. Just make sure. Yeah, we're all good. Okay, great. So we'll keep going. So what's in the digital school? I launched the digital school a few months ago. And what you'll be learning is Instagram marketing, how to drive growth and sales via Instagram, and how to really build your following with real and engaged followers, which there's no point in having a really, an Instagram account with, 20,000 followers if they're not buying from you. So I would teach you how to drive sales through Instagram, how to create a beautiful board, and what kind of strategy is behind it. So I have a whole big training element on that. Also SEO, how to get set up for SEO, the strategy behind SEO, and how to drive sales through your website, through leads. So that's the beauty of SEO. Ultimately, it's free leads, free traffic. And once you get it set up correctly, there's no money that you need to spend on advertising. It's not like Facebook advertising where you do need to have a budget. SEO is free. You just need to spend your time optimizing it. So I will walk you through all of that over the 3 months. I'll also be teaching you Facebook ads training and strategy and Google AdWords. So with Facebook ads and Google AdWords, you can spend a lot and not have a return if it's not set up correctly. If the campaigns aren't optimized, if you're not targeting the right people, if you don't have the right messaging, the right images, I will walk you through that. And we'll also be having guest speakers to go through training. I'll be popping on into the live, into the Facebook group and the private members group and doing tutorials. As part of the Business in a Box packages, you'll receive 3 months entry. And you can really gain a lot by, walking through the training and having access to this and really launching your online store and having the best start. So if you want to explore whether my Business in a Box packages are right for you, or, to hear about your, where you're at in business, and, even just, I'm a great sounding board for just hearing about your passion for wanting to start something, doing what you love, and, I can help you tap into that passion and seeing what's right for you. So let's just have a look for a moment at some of the frequently asked questions that I get asked. How much will I earn? Which is a really good question. The margin per item is between $20 and $40. So this can vary, can be more, can be less. If you're purchasing through another established brand, they can tell you the recommended retail price to price your garments and on sell, so you know your numbers. So I think it's all about, again, going back to the spreadsheet. I'm a bit of a nerd that way, but then I can really understand where there's gaps, where there's products that it's not viable enough to sell in my online store. So I can't imagine, putting them in my store if it's not going to work for me. So it's really good to know your numbers. Just remember that, know your numbers. So you've got to think about how much that you can earn. If you're earning between $20 and $40 on average for each product, and think if you have 500 products in your online store, think about that. So I urge you to also consider your shipping costs from overseas, whether you're going air freight or by sea, to factor that into that cost. So your profit margin should include absolutely every cost that comes to you, even packaging costs. So it may not be much. You may wrap your garments in beautiful tissue paper, and you may I used to go down to my local stationery shop and buy, 100 bags, beautiful brown bags. But you have to factor that into your bottom line and make sure it's going to work for you. And, I get asked, what if I've got no experience in digital marketing? Well, don't worry, neither did I, and I still had enormous success. And you can learn through my digital school. So I'll be walking you through a lot of the training. I update the training all the time to make sure it's the most relevant, because, as you know, digital marketing evolves so quickly, and you can learn. It's just being open, having an open mind to learn. And, I ultimately learned by YouTube and from experts who had carved the path before me. And that's what you can do too. And so I often get asked, where do I get support from? If you've had a business yourself and you say work from home, you know how isolating it can be. You know that you need support when you've got a question. So you'll have the private Facebook group for 3 months where you can pop in and ask any questions you like. There'll be admins to be able to help you. I will pop in there and be doing live tutorials and be there to help you. And you get training. So I hope that answers that. So I'll go over where some of my clients are now. Milk Bar Breast Pumps was a business that I started with my old business partner, and we on-sold this. So I always thought that there was a bit of a gap in the market for access to hospital-grade breast pumps after I had my babies. And I thought, wouldn't it be good to have an online marketplace selling breast pumps, and in particular featuring hospital-grade breast pumps. So the lovely Diane took over this business. She bought a business in a box. It was, completely, hers to keep and launch. And she's really done wonders with this. She stocks now some of the leading brands like Medela, Pigeon, Spectra, and really has made a huge success of it. This is my bamboo label that I've mentioned a few times. So I was scrolling through my newsfeed and I found this in my newsfeed. And Carolyn from now the new owner of Petite Bamboo took over this store a year ago now. And she has, not only scaled the products that I designed and developed, but she's also taken the brand internationally and added to the range. So she's brought out new collections. She's added packaging. As you can see in the bottom right here, she's added gorgeous packaging. And, I was so chuffed to be scrolling through my newsfeed, and I designed that logo and I designed that range. And, I was just so proud and so impressed with where Carolyn has taken the brand. As a mama herself, she wanted to do something that was completely bespoke to her and design her own label. And that's exactly what she's done. So she's really done well. So the next steps. So if you'd like to get on the call and discuss this with me, I'd love to chat to you. If you book now, book in a call, you just go to businessbox.com.au /book-a-call. You are welcome to book in a call with me, and I'd love to discuss your vision and, see whether this is the right fit for you. I'm very good at identifying gaps in the market and could, just see whether this would work for you. So more than welcome. And if you do book in a call, you get the bonus of the ultimate guide to SEO training, valued at $490. So thank you so much for staying with me for the hour. It has been amazing, and I've absolutely loved having you here with me and hearing all about how this could work for you. And I'm just going to go over to the chat box and just see whether there's any questions. So do I offer a guarantee? Not quite sure what that means, but, in terms of a guarantee, what I do offer is a solid business. So, I offer you the website, the branding, the supplier contact details, and you just need to see the testimonials of those of my clients that I've worked before. And yeah, you can just see their success, because really, if you can understand how much time and effort it takes to getting all of this right, you could chip away at it for 6 months to a year and really spend a lot of time and money setting up incorrectly, and then really it going nowhere. So that's what my business in a box is designed for, having a website and a launching platform that you can really develop on. And through the digital marketing school, that's why I've included 3 months of training. It's really going to be ultimately up to you and driving that kind of success. I give you the strategy, the platform, and all the right foundations to achieve that kind of success. So I hope that answers your question. If anyone's got any other questions, please put them in the chat box, because I would love to hear from you. Even if you put them in the chat box or send me an email at hello@businessboxed.com.au. I'd love to hear from you. So that's hello@businessboxed.com.au. And let's chat. Love to talk about your vision and where you're at. Well, thank you so much, everybody. It's been amazing, and I'll have a really lovely day. Okay, bye.